My name is Jessica Parker, I'm 29, and I'm about to tell you how I turned the most humiliating moment of my life into a reckoning that left jaws on the floor. Imagine this. My sister, dripping with smug confidence, sends me a wedding invitation practically daring me to show up. I open it, and my heart stops. The groom is my fiancé. 3 months before our wedding, I caught them tangled in my own bed, and now they're flaunting their betrayal with a handwritten note that stings like a slap. It said, "Join us to witness our forever." Most people would have broken down or stayed away. Not me. I strode into that vineyard in a dress that screamed power, carrying a secret that had burned their fairy tale to ashes. When I faced them, my hand flew first her, then him. The crowd's gasps were deafening. But that was just the spark. By the time I walked away, they'd lost everything: millions, reputations, futures. My sister thought she'd won, but I held the key to an $8 million empire she'd never touch. Before I dive in, hit that like button if you're ready for a story of justice served cold, and subscribe to catch every twist. Drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is. I'd love to know. Now, let's get to the moment it all began. The whispers hit me the second I stepped through the arched gates of Willow Creek Vineyard. 200 guests turned like a coordinated swarm, their eyes wide with shock. I could feel the judgment rolling off them in waves. Why is she here? And in that dress, I kept my head up, steps steady on the gravel path leading to the ceremony area. My red silk gown, the one I'd picked for our engagement party, clung just right, catching the afternoon sun. At the front, under a floral arch, stood Amanda, my sister, in a flowing white gown, her dark hair pinned with fresh orchids. Brian next to her in a navy suit, the same one he'd tried on with me 6 months ago. His face went pale when he spotted me. The event planner, Ms. Harlow, hurried over her clipboard, shaking. "Ms. Parker, we didn't expect you." "My invitation says 2 p.m. I replied coolly, flashing the elegant card. "I'm on time." I took a seat 4 rows back, legs crossed, scanning the crowd. Mom twisted from the front, her lips pressed thin. Dad's fist clenched on his knee. But Amanda's glare fueled me. She gripped Brian's arm, whispering furiously. "Let her stew." The violin music swelled, trying to mask the tension. Father Thomas adjusted his collar, glancing between Amanda and me. What they didn't know was the folder in my bag held more than regrets. It had proof, plans, and a legacy worth $8 million. The ceremony was seconds away, and I was ready. 2 weeks earlier, I'd been in my Oakland apartment sorting mail when the envelope arrived. Amanda's handwriting, neat and mocking. My hands shook as I tore it open, knowing it couldn't be good. The invitation matched the design I'd chosen for my wedding. Same elegant font, same cream paper. But the note inside twisted the knife. "Family celebrates family. Come witness our joy. We'd hate for you to miss out. Love, Amanda and Brian." I stared at those words, fury building. She wasn't just stealing my life, she was parading it. That night, I called my best friend Stephanie. "Don't go," she urged. "It's a trap to break you." But Stephanie didn't know the full picture. She didn't know about the call from David Harper, Grandma Margaret's lawyer, a week prior. She didn't know about the files in his safe. "I'm going," I said, "and it'll be unforgettable." The next days were a blur of preparation, not for anger, but for clarity. After 29 years of playing second to Amanda, the reliable one who fixed everything, I was done. I'd even texted Brian once. He replied, fast, voice tense in my mind. "Jessica, let's talk." "No need," I texted back. "Hope she's worth $8 million. I blocked him before he could reply. Let him panic. The invitation mocked me from my kitchen counter as I dressed for the wedding. But I wasn't the broken girl anymore. I was sharper, ready to claim what was mine. Our family dynamics had always put Amanda on a pedestal. She was the outgoing one, the charmer who got away with everything. I was the quiet worker building my career in tech at Parker Innovations, the company Grandma Margaret founded. Brian and I met at a conference in San Francisco 2 years ago. He was smooth ambitious, a software engineer with big ideas. We planned a future, a startup branch, a house in the hills, stability. Amanda was in Los Angeles then, chasing modeling gigs. She visited for holidays, saw my ring, and her eyes shifted. Texts started innocent at first, then constant. Just advice, she claimed. By spring, she was crashing our dates. Coincidence, Brian said. Then I found her necklace in our bedroom. Must have dropped it visiting. He lied. 3 weeks later, I came home early from a work trip. The sounds from the bedroom hit me like a punch. I pushed the door open. There they were on my sheets. Brian's first words. She's fun, Jessica. You're always working. They packed and left that week. Mom called to say they looked happy together. The financial fallout crushed me. I'd sunk $50,000 into wedding deposits, venue, caterer, all non-refundable. At work, whispers spread. Someone saw Brian moving out. Amanda posted from my apartment on social media. By noon, I was the office pity case. Take time off, my boss Robert said. That time cost me the lead on a $40 million project. It went to a newbie. No distractions, he explained. My promotion vanished, bonus gone. Meanwhile, Parker Innovations was sinking, bad deals from dad, contracts lost. We were months from collapse, but they hit it. Amanda's wedding must be perfect, Mom insisted. The investors will come. Brian's family had connections, but no one knew his gambling debts. Dad even called, "Show up for the business, Jessica." She stole my fiancé. Be mature, this is bigger than you. I hung up, then dug into the files David had mentioned. That's when I learned Grandma Margaret's real plan. Your grandmother was strategic, David said, handing over papers. She saw the patterns. The company was worth $8 million in hidden assets, patents, software properties. Conditions were strict: heir unmarried or wed to someone stable, no debts over $50,000, no fraud. Grandma suspected Brian from day one. Social media became torture. Amanda posted engagement photos, beach sunset, her hand showing my ring. Caption: Love finds a way, excited for forever. Hundreds of likes from our circle. No one mentioned me. At work, isolation grew, lunches alone, projects reassigned. Even Stephanie said, "Move on." But I wanted justice. Amanda's posts mocked my plans. Same bakery, same florist, same Italy itinerary I'd researched. She knew I'd see. While she bragged, I met David again. She doesn't know. Too busy. 3 days before Amanda called. You're not coming, right? Her tone dripped venom. Wouldn't miss it. Don't embarrass us. I'm grateful, Amanda. You saved me. Silence. Just don't act crazy. I hung up, smiling. Mom showed up next, checkbook ready. How much to stay away? Keep it, you'll need it. Her face paled when I mentioned Dad's loans. After she left, I reviewed the folder. Everything set. The family ambush came Friday. Mom, Dad, no aunt this time. You won't ruin this, Dad barked. I'm attending. The company needs it. Brian has $200,000 in debt. Know that room went silent. You're controlling, Mom snapped. He cheated with my sister. Support family. My phone buzzed. David. Ready. I showed them out. See you tomorrow. Grandma Margaret died 6 months ago. I was with her, holding her hand. Strength in silence, she whispered. Her funeral, Amanda. Dramatic, me quiet. Weeks later, David called. Will sealed for 6 months. As my life unraveled, pieces fell into place. Grandma built Parker Innovations from scratch in 1985 when women rarely did. She hid assets, set conditions. Heir of Parker, blood, stable marriage, or single, no infidelity. Amanda's marriage to Brian triggered forfeiture. Bored Grandma's pics would enforce. If contested, his fraud sealed it. The invitation sat next to the folder. Tomorrow, truth would hit. The reception buzzed before the ceremony. Seating chart shoved me to table 18 near staff. Brittany, Amanda's friend, smirked. Didn't think you'd show. Here I am. Whispers spread. I spotted Robert Marshall, potential client. Board members nodded discreetly. As guests seated, Amanda's voice floated. She's here, pathetic. Brian mumbled about money. I sat calm. Bridesmaids passed, pitying. Brian avoided my eyes. Music swelled. Amanda walked radiant. Vows started. Amanda's, Brian, you showed me real passion. Some chase plans. We seized the moment. Glance at me. Brian's, Amanda, you're exciting. No love. Father Thomas. If anyone objects. I stood. As the violin notes faded, I stood in the vineyard, my red silk gown catching every eye. Father Thomas paused, his hand on the Bible, waiting for someone to speak. I sat back down, heart pounding, but not yet. Timing was everything. The folder in my bag felt heavier with every second, proof of Brian's lies, Amanda's betrayal, and Grandma Margaret's plan to secure my future. 2 weeks before the wedding, I'd sat across from David Harper in his sleek San Francisco office, the city skyline sharp through the window. David, Grandma Margaret's lawyer for decades, slid a sealed folder across his desk. Your grandmother was meticulous, he said, his voice steady. She built Parker Innovations into an $8 million empire. Patents, software licenses, real estate, all hidden from your father's mismanagement. I leaned forward, pulse racing. Hidden how she set up trusts, David explained. The company's public face is struggling, but the real value, proprietary AI algorithms, property deeds, contracts with tech giants, sits in protected entities. Your father only saw what she let him see. He opened the folder, revealing Grandma Margaret's will, notarized 6 months ago, the day she died. The heir must be a Parker by blood, unmarried or married to someone financially stable. No debts over $50,000, no fraud or infidelity with an engaged person. I read the words, my breath catching. She knew about Brian. David nodded. Margaret suspected him early. She had me investigate. The file included Brian's financials, $200,000 in gambling debts, 3 credit cards maxed out in my name, a failed startup he'd hidden. This is fraud, I whispered. Federal crime, David confirmed. You could press charges, but the will's conditions are your real weapon. If Amanda married Brian, she'd forfeit any claim to the inheritance. If I'd married him, I'd have lost it too. Grandma's board, 5 loyal colleagues would enforce it. What if Amanda contests? I asked. David smiled. With Brian's record, no judge would side with her. I left his office, the folder clutched tight, and called Stephanie Carter, my best friend from a coffee shop. I'm not just going to the wedding, I told her. I'm ending this. She sighed. Jess, be careful. Amanda's ruthless. So am I now, I replied. Stephanie didn't know the stakes, $8 million, my family's legacy, my life reclaimed. Next, I hired a private investigator, Lauren Mitchell, to dig deeper into Brian. She delivered in 3 days bank statements, casino records, emails where Brian bragged about playing me to access Parker Innovations. He'd targeted Amanda next, thinking she'd inherit. He miscalculated, Lauren said, handing me the report. Your sister's his backup plan. The evidence burned in my hands, Brian's texts to Amanda planning to use her to pitch investors at the wedding. He didn't love her. He loved the idea of her money. Amanda didn't see it, too caught up in her victory. I almost pitied her. Almost. Back at my apartment, I spread the documents across my table. The will's conditions were ironclad. No heir could marry someone with a history of fraud or infidelity with an engaged person. Brian checked both boxes. Amanda's engagement announcement, plastered across social media, with my ring sparkling on her finger, triggered the morality clause. Grandma had planned for this, her final gift to me. I called David again. Can we execute this at the wedding? He hesitated. It's dramatic, but legal. The board's ready. Mrs. Sullivan and Mr. Bennett will attend unofficially. You present the will, they'll back you. I nodded, picturing Amanda's face when the truth hit. And the company. Your father's loans $3 million against assets he doesn't own violate fiduciary duty. The board can remove him effective immediately. The next day, I met Mrs. Sullivan, a board member and Grandma's confidant, at a quiet diner. Her sharp eyes studied me. Margaret always said you had her grit. This won't be easy, your parents will fight. Let them, I said. I'm done being invisible. She handed me a sealed letter from Grandma written in her elegant script. I didn't open it yet. Somehow I wanted to save it for after the storm. Brian texted me that night, desperate, Jessica, we need to talk. I made a mistake. I replied, you made your choice. Hope it's worth $200,000. No response. Good. Let him squirm. Amanda called too, her voice sharp. You're not seriously coming, are you? Wouldn't dream of missing it, I said, calm as ice. Don't make a scene, she snapped. I won't. I lied. The family's final push came Friday night. Mom and Dad showed up at my apartment, faces tight. You can't ruin Amanda's day, Dad said, pacing. The company's on the line. Robert Marshall's attending, he's our last shot at investment. Brian's a fraud, I said. $200,000 in debt plus my credit cards. Mom gasped. You're lying. I showed them Lauren's report, casino receipts, forged signatures. Dad's face reddened. You had no right to dig into him. He stole from me, I shot back. And Amanda helped. Mom tried a new tactic, pulling out her phone. What will it take to keep you away? Money. I laughed, bitter. Ask Dad about his loans first. Her eyes darted to him. He froze. What loans? She asked. Nothing, he muttered, but his voice shook. I opened the door. See you at the wedding. Alone, I opened Grandma's letter. My dearest Jessica, it began. Your family sees your kindness as weakness, but I see strength. Parker Innovations is yours. Wait for their mistakes. Then claim it. I traced her words, tears stinging. She'd seen me, believed in me. The morning of the wedding, I laid out my gown and the folder. Social media was relentless. Amanda's posts, my caterer, my venue, my dreams, all hers now. But she didn't know about the patents, the trusts, the board. Parker Innovations wasn't just a startup. It held AI software contracts with 3 tech giants, a Silicon Valley office building, and a patent portfolio Grandma had guarded for decades. Dad thought he ran it. He was a figurehead. I met David one last time, hours before the ceremony. The board's prepared, he said. Mrs. Sullivan and Mr. Bennett will signal when you're ready to act. The will's public reading is tomorrow, 6 months since Margaret's death, but you can present it today. I nodded. It's time. As I dressed, the folder sat beside Amanda's invitation. Her note, "Come witness our joy," felt like a taunt. But joy wasn't what she'd get. I slipped the documents into my bag, each page a step toward justice. Brian's debts. Amanda's betrayal. Dad's loans, they'd built their own ruin. At the vineyard, the crowd's stares didn't faze me. Robert Marshall, the investor, stood near the bar, unaware of the storm coming. Amanda's voice carried from the bridal suite. She's here in Red God. She's desperate. Brian's reply was low, nervous. What if she knows what Brian? I thought, settling into my seat. The music shifted, processional began. Amanda walked radiant, oblivious. Vows started her words, dripping with smugness. Brian, you're my everything. Some people plan love. We found it. Father Thomas's voice rang out. If anyone knows any reason this marriage should not proceed. My fingers tightened on the folder. I stood. The vineyard air thickened as I stood, the floral arch framing Amanda and Brian like a bad joke. 200 guests held their breath, phones poised. Father Thomas's eyes widened behind his glasses. Ms. Parker, please state your objection clearly. I stepped into the aisle, my red gown swishing, folder in hand. I object on legal and moral grounds, I said, voice cutting through the silence. This marriage is built on fraud and betrayal. Amanda's bouquet dropped slightly, her face twisting. Sit down, Jessica, you're ruining everything. Brian's hands fisted at his sides, sweat beading on his forehead. This is ridiculous. I ignored them, handing the folder to Father Thomas. Read the documents. They're authenticated. He flipped open the will, scanning the pages, his expression shifting from confusion to shock. David Harper rose from his seat in the 5th row. Father, I'm David Harper, attorney for the Parker estate. Those papers are legally binding and time-sensitive. Huh. Guest murmured, leaning forward. Mom half stood. Jessica, enough. Dad's jaw clenched. Not here. But I was done whispering. 6 months ago, Grandma Margaret died. Her will was sealed until today, the exact anniversary. It bequeaths the entire Parker estate, including Parker Innovations, valued at $8 million to me, Jessica Parker. Gasps echoed. Robert Marshall, the investor chatting earlier, straightened, suddenly attentive. Father Thomas read aloud, his voice booming. The heir must be of Parker blood, unmarried or married to an individual of financial stability, as approved by the board of directors within 30 days of the will's reading. No outstanding debts exceeding $50,000. No history of financial fraud. Amanda grabbed Brian's arm, nails digging in. What does this have to do with us? I turned to her, eyes locked. If you marry Brian, you forfeit any claim. And Brian, how much do you owe in gambling debts? $200,000 last I checked. Plus the 3 credit cards you fraudulently opened in my name. The crowd exploded in whispers. Brian staggered back. That's private. Not anymore, I said, pulling out the financial reports from the folder. Here's the proof: bank statements, casino logs, forged signatures. It's federal fraud. Amanda's voice rose to a shriek. You're making this up, Dad, stop her. Dad started forward, but Mr. Bennett, another board member, blocked him. The board has seen these. It's legitimate. Mrs. Sullivan stood too. The will also excludes any family member engaging in infidelity with an engaged person. Marrying your sister's fiancé qualifies as a breach of moral character under Section 7, subsection 3. Amanda's composure cracked. This can't be real. The company is Dad's. David shook his head. Margaret Wilson retained 78% ownership through trusts and holdings. Your father was manager, not owner. She protected it from mismanagement. Father Thomas continued reading. Any marriage under false pretenses regarding financial status or with intent to defraud can be challenged. Brian's parents, seated near the front, looked horrified. His mother whispered urgently to his father. Brian turned to Amanda. We can postpone. But she shoved him away. Postpone? You lied about everything. The guests were on their feet now, some fleeing, others recording. One woman near me muttered, "This is better than TV." I stepped closer to the arch, facing Amanda directly. You thought you'd take my fiancé, my plans, my life, but you didn't look deep enough. Her eyes blazed. You planned this, you jealous. Before she finished, my hand moved, slapping her cheek with a sharp, controlled sting. She reeled back, hand flying to her face, eyes wide in disbelief. How dare you? Brian lunged forward. Hey! I turned and slapped him too, the impact echoing. That's for the betrayal. And the fraud. The vineyard erupted. Screams, chairs scraping, phones flashing. Mom rushed up, grabbing my arm. Jessica, you've gone too far. I pulled away. No, Mom, they did. Dad bellowed. Security. But the event planner, Ms. Harlow, stood frozen. Officer Reyes and his partner, discreetly positioned by David, approached. Mr. Coleman, we need to discuss those credit cards. Brian backed into the arch, knocking orchids loose. This is a setup. Jessica forged those. David held up his phone. Authenticated by federal records. Miss Parker chose not to press charges until now. Amanda collapsed onto the steps, her white gown pooling like defeat. The prenup. We signed one, keeping finances separate. Brian's eyes darted. Yes. No claims on each other's assets. She laughed, wild and broken. What assets? You're in, debt up to your eyes. He knelt beside her. Amanda, we can work through. She pushed him hard. Work through? You targeted me because you thought I'd get the money. You lost Jessica's, so you took mine. His silence was damning. The truth hung heavy. Brian had played us both, betting on the inheritance. Guests buzzed live streams capturing every tear, every accusation. Robert Marshall addressed the Thompsons, Brian's parents. Did you know about the debts? His mother shook her head, horrified. We thought he was stable. Father Thomas closed the folder. In light of this, the ceremony cannot proceed. Amanda snarled at me, mascara running. I'll contest the will, sue for everything. Try it, I said quietly. With Brian's fraud and your infidelity, no court will touch it. You quit your job for this wedding. He's a liability. And Dad's loans $3 million against company assets mean investigation for embezzlement. Dad's face went ashen. You wouldn't. Mrs. Sullivan pulled her tablet. We already are. Your access is revoked. The unraveling accelerated. Brian's father pulled him aside, whispering furiously. Amanda's bridesmaids hovered unsure. Brittany, one of them, stared at me in awe. You really did it. The crowd split, some applauding quietly, others fleeing the drama. Phones dinged with notifications. The video was spreading. I looked at Amanda, crumpled and furious. You did me a favor stealing him, saved me from losing everything, she spat. Enjoy your money, you'll be alone forever. I smiled faintly. Better alone than with thieves. David touched my elbow. The board meeting's Monday. Police will handle Brian. Officer Reyes cuffed him loosely for questioning. Just routine, sir. Brian protested. She entrapped me. You entrapped yourself, I said. Mom tried one last plea. We're family, Jessica. Family doesn't steal and lie, I replied. Dad slumped. The company's gone. Mr. Bennett nodded. To Jessica, as Margaret intended. As chaos reigned, Amanda sobbing, Brian led away, parents arguing, I turned and walked the aisle backward, guests parting. The reception tent loomed, tables set with my chosen menu. But I didn't stay. Justice was served. Time to leave the wreckage. As I drove from the vineyard, the chaos faded in my rear view. Amanda's sobs, Brian's protests, the guests' stunned faces. My phone buzzed nonstop. Stephanie's text first. Girl, you're viral. Remind me not to mess with you. I smiled faintly, but the real work was just starting. David called. Police took Brian for questioning. Board filing against your father. Meet Monday at 9 a.m. I'll be there, I said. Justice wasn't a moment, it was momentum. By sunset, the video exploded online. Sister slaps bride and groom reveals 8M fraud at wedding hit 3 million views. Clips showed my slaps, the will reading, Amanda's meltdown. Comments poured in. She got what she deserved. Grandma's ghost move. Betrayal backfires. Amanda's social media became a war zone, followers dropping, sponsors fleeing. Her modeling career, over. Brian's profiles went dark. Rumors said he fled to his parents in Seattle. The fraud probe stuck, he'd pay restitution for years. Dad tried calling 17 times. I answered the last. How could you? He roared. I revealed the truth, I said. Your loans, Brian's debts, it's all out. The company's ruined. No, Dad, you ruined it. Grandma saved it for me. Mom chimed in, voice shaky. Your sister's devastated. She moved home. Then teach her accountability, I replied. The call ended with her crying. No guilt. This time I was free. Monday's board meeting sealed it. At the San Francisco office, Mrs. Sullivan chaired. Unanimous approval, Jessica Parker as CEO. I signed the papers, the weightlifting. Dad showed up banging on glass doors. Security escorted him out. His embezzlement case settled out of court, no jail but reputation shredded. He took a low-level job at a competitor starting over at 60. Mom found work as a receptionist, their lifestyle downsized, big house, sold cars, gone. Amanda hit rock bottom fast. Starbucks job, community college classes she paid her way for once. Therapy rumors circulated, but no contact from her. I heard through Stephanie, she's dealing with jealousy issues. Good for her, but not my problem. Brian pled guilty to fraud, community service, and fines. Last seen at a dealership selling cars with that same charm. His parents cut him off. Professionally, doors opened. 3 clients called, wanting me specifically. Your leadership inspires, one said. The $40 million deal with Robert Marshall signed Tuesday. Margaret would be proud, he noted. Parker Innovations stock soared, headlines praised the quiet turnaround. I hired fresh talent, expanded AI divisions. No nepotism, merit only. Family reconciliation attempts came 2 weeks later. They ambushed my office. Dad aged, Mom wrinkled, Amanda hollow. We talk now, Dad started, voice weak. About what embezzlement? I asked. The family, Mom pleaded. We're still blood. Blood that bled me dry, I said. Amanda spoke raw. You took everything. No, Amanda. You tried stealing mine. Brian, the wedding, the ring. Silence. I pulled Grandma's letter. Want to hear her words? They nodded. Dearest Jessica, I've seen them diminish you. Your father values flash over foundation. Your mother enables. Amanda's beauty lacks depth. But you have integrity. The company is yours, let them expose themselves, then rise. Mom wept. Dad stared. Amanda whispered, she saw us. She loved you, I said, but didn't trust you. Difference. What now? Mom asked. Handle your consequences. No money, no help from me. Amanda's eyes flashed. Abandon us. Put myself first like you taught. They left defeated. I wasn't celebrating. I was done carrying them. That night, another letter from Grandma via David. Boundaries before forgiveness. Proud of you. She'd anticipated it all. 6 months later, life transformed. Company landed international deals, staff grew to 50. I dated cautiously, Alex, a stable engineer, board approved if it came to that. No rush. Amanda's letter arrived. Making amends. I was cruel, jealous of your strength. Marcus. Brian was about winning. Ugly truth, but needed. Not for forgiveness for me. I filed it away. No reply. Boundaries held. Parents struggled. Dad consulted. Mom adapted. They asked about me through others. Thriving, Stephanie said. Grandma's portrait oversaw my office. You taught me kindness isn't weakness, I told it. Patience wins. The empire expanded, mine alone. The empire grew under my watch, but the true victory was the silence, no more. Family demands, no more fixing their chaos. 6 months passed without a word from Amanda, Dad, or Mom. Stephanie updated me occasionally. Amanda's still at that coffee shop taking classes. Looks like she's changing. I nodded but didn't reach out. Change was her journey, not mine to monitor. Brian faded into obscurity, his fraud conviction a shadow on his resume. Last I heard, he was in New Jersey scraping by. His parents disowned him fully after the scandal. Dad's fall was quiet but complete. The embezzlement settlement stripped his assets. He consulted for small firms, a far cry from leading Parker Innovations. Mom adjusted to her receptionist role, their downsized apartment a stark contrast to the old mansion. They tried indirect contact through mutual friends, asking if I'd soften. Thriving without them, was my standard reply. No bridges rebuilt. The cut was clean, permanent. One evening, sorting old files, I found another note from Grandma Margaret. Forgiveness is optional, self-respect is mandatory. Her words reinforced my choice. The company hit new heights, international partnership stock value doubled. I led with the integrity she instilled, hiring based on talent, not ties. Alex and I dated steadily. He was solid, no red flags. The board approved him informally, but marriage wasn't on the horizon. I'd learned patience in all things. Amanda's final attempt came via mail, a letter, her handwriting shaky. Fiona, wait, Jessica. Therapy's making me face it. I was jealous, always taking to feel big. Brian was the worst, proving I could win. It was pathetic. You showed me my reflection, ugly as it was. I'm building my own life now, no shortcuts. Don't expect reply. Just needed to say it. I read it twice, then shredded it. No amends needed. The boundary stood. Parents sent a card on my birthday, simple, thinking of you. I recycled it. Their struggles were self-made. My energy went to growth. The lesson crystallized: betrayal's cost isn't just pain, it's the loss of trust forever. I wasn't vengeful. I was protected. That's my story, turning theft into triumph through preparation and truth. If you've followed this far, thank you. What boundaries have you set after betrayal? Share in the comments. Your experience might help someone. If this resonated, subscribe for more tales of standing strong. Until next time, remember your worth isn't in what others take, but what you build despite them.